We're just returning from executive session with nothing to report at this time. As we continue the meeting of the Bridgewater Rainham Regional School Committee, thank you all for joining us here at the high school on Wednesday, April 16th at 7:08 p.m. And we'd ask you first if you would please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Next on our agenda, we have approval of minutes. Members have copies of the meeting of March 26, 2014 to review. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Motion by Dr. Prewandowski, second by Mrs. Sklaparis. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So voted. Also, we have the minutes of April 2nd, 2014. Do we have a motion to approve? Motion by Dr. Prewandowski, second by Mrs. Sklaparis. Any discussion on the motion to approve? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So voted. Next, we have our favorite part of the agenda, correspondence and recognition especially. It's at this time in the meeting that we like to recognize some of our community members or district members who go above and beyond the call of duty and kind of recognize some of the wonderful things that are happening within our district. So first we have to recognize Mrs. Kate Dyer of CPAC, which is the Special Education Parents Advisory Council. And it's with great pleasure that we do this. And Dr. Forbes, I'll ask you to join me over at the podium. And maybe if Kate would like to come up with us as well. And this is acknowledgement of appreciation to Kate Dyer. Kate Dyer is currently the CPAC president. She has provided a great service to the Bridgewater Rainham School District in this role. Kate has dedicated much of her time in bringing her knowledge as well as a multitude of resources to the BR School community in an effort to support disability awareness and inclusiveness. Some of the most recent activities Kate and her fellow CPAC officers have accomplished are as follows. They conduct monthly CPAC meetings that include presentations on topics such as behavior management, assistive technology, transition planning, medication, annual parents' rights, early childhood transitions, and homework struggles. Special Olympics coach. Kate is also a Special Olympics coach for adults in New Bedford, 14 years of service doing that. She started the Bridgewater Rainham Special Olympics basketball team this year for students ages 9 through 15. She led weekly practice for 10 students with disabilities. Their team won a gold medal at the state tournament in their division. And I understand, and one of our school committee members can attest to the fact that Kate does absolutely a phenomenal job with this activity. She also created and leads every year the Understanding Disabilities Fair for students in the 3rd and 4th grade classrooms in both Bridgewater and Rainham. Students participate in simulation activities that educate them on different disabilities, including blindness, hearing loss, developmental disabilities, physical disabilities, and behavioral disabilities. The goal is to increase knowledge about disabilities, foster positive attitudes about people living with disabilities, and promote acceptance of persons living with disabilities. And it is absolutely a wonderful event and has a great, great impact on the students. She is also responsible for the first annual Family Special Education Night, which is coming up on May 16th. Parents are invited to connect with other parents and gather information on local community services for students with disabilities available in the community. Annual Special Education Scholarship has been started by our CPAC group, $500 for a student who has received special education services at some point in his or her career at BR. Kids on the Block presentation is scheduled for June. Will be held at 3 of the elementary schools. This nationally recognized puppet program provides an unforgettable education experience for students. The kids, which are actually puppets, teach the students about disabilities. And Kate and her group also created a parent resource packet containing information on local agencies that are available to children with disabilities and how to access them. Those included and posted on the CPAC BR website are Mass Health, Department of Developmental Disabilities, Department of Mental Health, and Respite. She also collaborates with our building-based PTOs and is involved in fundraising activities such as the Rainham and Bridgewater Pride Magnets. She's also a member of our Rainham Association of Volunteers for Education's Board of Directors, serving as chair and co-chair of our Read Across America effort, which is one of our favorite programs, and Kate, along with Becky Mello, do just a wonderful job with that. Kate, you know, I know the group does many of these things, but there needs to be somebody who's leading the way, and you have just done a phenomenal job. So we want to thank you so much. You're a wonderful student advocate, and we greatly appreciate it.
Kate, we have a certificate of appreciation for you, and it reads, "This certificate is awarded to Kate Dyer in recognition of your outstanding commitment and support to the Bridgewater Rainham Regional School District special education students and their families." And it's signed by School Committee Chairman Patricia A. Riley and Superintendent Jacqueline Forbes. Thank you for all that you do. It's with great appreciation that we give you this certificate. Thank you. And she also volunteers every week at La Liberté on top of that, so thank you.
I'd like to thank Dr. Forbes and Derek Swenson and the school committee for acknowledging the hard work that I do to provide education to administrators and teachers and parents in the broader community on special education. I'd like to thank Carla Thomas, our special education director, for supporting our parents' organization and collaborating with the school administrators, teacher, and school committee to continually improve the educational opportunities for our children. Our board members, Rebecca Johnson, Liz Barboza, and Shannon Bolin, are constantly working towards the understanding, support, and appropriate education for all children with special needs in our community. I'd also like to thank the principals and parents organizations for helping promote our programs. They are constantly encouraging us to come into their schools and foster positive attitudes and acceptance of kids with special needs. I encourage and challenge everyone to continue to promote an innovative educational environment where children with disabilities have equal access and educational opportunities in a school environment where all children are encouraged to reach their full potential. Thank you.
Thank you, Kate.
Thank you. And next on our agenda, we have the Invent Team video with Mr. Patrick, I believe, Dr. Forbes.
Yes, Mr. Patrick, if you would give us an update, please, on the Coffee Pod Recycling Invent Team project.
Sure. Well, thank you for having me here again tonight. I'd just like to say that the Invent team is still going on strong, and we're on target to have our invention presented in June on the campus of MIT. Right now, we presently have a patent lawyer working pro bono for us and doing a patent search. Actually, I just heard from her today, and the search is almost complete. They're just looking into a couple technical issues, but it's pretty much clear. And we should be applying for a provisional patent very soon, provisional U.S. patent. And basically what that does is that gives us about a year of leeway to apply for a full U.S. patent, which, you know, if things go correctly, everything goes right, hopefully we'll be able to get to that point. There's a lot that needs to be done between now and then, but there will be 13 kids and myself on a U.S. patent, provisional patent, soon. Hopefully by the next meeting we'll be able to have an official number and certificate and all that for you. So also the kids have put together sort of an informational video that describes the problem that they're trying to solve. We had to edit it a little bit for tonight because we don't have the provisional patent yet, and our lawyer advised us that we leave out some of the, a lot of the workings of the device and all that. So, Mr. Bennett, if you don't mind.
We'll need to move.
There is sound
We have
on
to
there
keep it
also.
super secret.
Yeah, it's very, it's.
We don't
it's
want
short.
anyone stealing our ideas, our kids and
Yeah.
Mr. Patrick.
Well, that's what we had to cut out, but this is sort of, no, you'll see, it's nice.
We're the Bridgewater A&M Event Team. Last year, over 4.9 billion coffee pods were sold, about 13.4 million a day. This amounts to about 40 tons of waste every day, just in plastic. As it stands, a single coffee pod is not recyclable.
This is an area where we had to cut out. And this is the end of the
Reduce
video.
waste to save.
Once you get that patent, Mr. Patrick, you'll have to come back and show us the whole video.
Yeah, we will. In fact, I just want to mention that as soon as we do get the provisional patent, the full version of this video will be released to, YouTube, the public, and all
Excellent.
that. And we'll have a better idea then what, the potential that the project actually has. And, we'll go from there.
This innovative project is a wonderful project for our students to get involved in. It's real world, it's hands-on. It could have a significant impact on our recycling across the world. So this is a big deal,
It's
and
very exciting.
there are only two schools that we know of that are involved in the patent process and to date. And so we're looking into that to make sure that the patent is protected. And I know that we are doing, the attorney, who is a patent attorney, is doing a national and as well as an international search to see if there are any other patents out there that are coffee pod recyclers. So it's a very exciting time here in BR. And quite often, Mr. Patrick and I talk about innovation. Innovation is certainly what we need in this nation to keep it strong, and it's what we need in our public schools. No matter what our curriculum is, we still need to be able to excel, reach beyond, and come up with new ideas. So thank you, Mr. Patrick, for your leadership in that role. Appreciate it.
Who does the patent belong to if it gets full patent?
That has to be determined, Chief. So if it goes to full patent, for the provisional, it's a wonderful opportunity for the students and Mr. Patrick. It will certainly help them on their resumes in applying to college. Once it goes to a full patent, then we have to take a look at the intellectual property rights of the patent. And we don't know, and the other patent pending system, school district, is still working on that process also.
Working on it right now. So I'm learning as I go. You know, obviously I've never had a patent before, and it's, you know, not a commonplace in a high school. So.
Could be a movie like Facebook.
Well, and what we're doing is we have legal counsel working with the patent attorney so that we'll be able to protect the property rights to the invention. And these are the kind of challenges that are exciting in education, in public education. They're headaches, but guess what? We're going to get through it. We're going to do the right thing by the kids. And
The whole patent process has been you know, an education for me and the kids. It's, you know, something that you don't really think about. You know, we all want to invent and save the world, all right, but then, you know, we have lawyers and business and, you know, all that to deal with after that, and it's certainly been a learning experience.
And there's a TV show called Shark Tank that I, that I think the students and Mr. Patrick are excited.
Well, the students are. I don't know if Mr. Patrick is.
I haven't seen it yet, but I'll have to check it out. So,
Yeah.
but these are exciting times here, so we're very pleased.
Any
Thank
other
you, Mr.
questions from any committee members? Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, next we have NASSP Ignite 14 Conference. Dr. Forbes.
Yes, I received a letter from the executive director of the National Association of Secondary School Principals commending the superintendent and the school committee for our support of our principal, Dr. Thompson, who is a senior member of the NASSP Board of Directors. He represents Region 1, which is New England, and he recently attended the Ignite conference that was held in Dallas, Texas, at no cost to our taxpayers. This is funded by the National Association of Secondary School Principals. And it's really important that we continue to support our principals in their, and invest in their leadership development. So I just wanted to say that our approval of Mr. Thompson's attendance helped make the conference a resounding success, and I know that what he learns and brings back to the district will help us improve teaching and learning here at BR. So I just wanted to bring that to the attention of the committee.
Thank you, Dr. Forbes. Next we have MAA Educational Athletics Achievement Award.
Yes, Mr. Buron is here, and I'd like to ask Mr. Buron to come forward to speak about this. This is the first MIAA Athletic Achievement Award that I believe we have received. So, Mr. Buron?
Thank you, Ms. Riley. Thank you, Dr. Forbes. Yes, the Massachusetts Interscholastic Athletic Association, otherwise known as the MIAA, started a program on the Educational Athletic Achievement Award. They have various areas in which they present these awards, and one of them is in leadership. And the MIA, they just started this program this year, so the first ever leadership award was presented to our football team this past season for their role during the Thanksgiving Day football game. And I'm sure everybody's aware of the story about Danny Keefe, the little boy that had some issues, and our players and actually one of our assistant coaches met Danny, and he called me up. He said, "You got to meet this kid." And those of us who have met him know he's energetic, and he just takes a hold of you. So our players want to make him an honorary captain at the Thanksgiving Day football game. And then the team that he was the water boy, who really, you know, were the heroes in this story, when they supported Danny, we had them come to the pregame, you know, on the sidelines, and our players acted as positive role models and took each one of those kids out on the field during warm-ups and really made it a great event for all of them. And it was really our captains and our players who led the charge on this. So as a result of that, the MIA took note of that, and I thought it was a great story, which it was for Danny and the fifth graders, but our kids also. It was a learning experience for them because they realized firsthand that they are role models for the younger kids, younger athletes in the community. So I just had fun that day. It was great watching, when you meet Danny and the younger kids and see what they're looking up at our players. But to see how our players interact with them was, a moment I'll never forget. So, and I've said this to Dr. Forbes, and I'll say it here tonight if you don't mind. I think the best part of this whole story is little Danny, who has a disability known as childhood apraxia of speech. Relatively, I never knew what it was till I saw Danny's story. At least we're getting made aware of that now, and it's getting out there, and so we're just a part of it. I just like to thank my players, my captains in particular. And just another example, much like Mr. Patrick's kids. There's a lot of good things going on here, and we should be proud of our kids.
Thank you very much for bringing that to our attention. Dr. Forbes, anything else you'd like to comment?
Yes, part of what our AD's role is to inspire our student athletes, because he is a role model. And he has done a great job this year working with our student athletes. And it's so rewarding to see that not only are they receiving accolades for their athletic prowess, but also for their leadership. And that comes as a result of the fine and dedicated work of Dan Buron, our AD and football coach. So Dan, I'm really thrilled that we're starting to see leadership in all of the sports, with the captains, with the leadership, your captain's council. It's really paying off big time. And we've got a video that we'd like to share with the school committee. I apologize for having you get up and, and go back and forth, but it's a 3-minute video that I think is really something that people need to take a look at and see how inspiring our student athletes are.
In the great tradition of football, the BR Trojans have always stood as one, going to battle each and every week as a band of brothers. In the fall of 2013, that spirit of brotherhood expanded to Legion Field and the Williams Intermediate School, where another football team, slightly younger, also came together to support one of their own. As you may remember, Danny Keefe, a member of the Badgers football team, was picked on for having a speech impediment. Danny's friends didn't think that was right, so they banded together in support of Danny, and later in the season, the Trojans came together to join in the effort.
One of my assistant coaches, Ted Barbetto, came up with the idea to support Danny and have him as an honorary captain on Thanksgiving, and the players they were the ones that ran with it, and they did a great job. We ended up inviting Danny, went out with the captains, and then the 5th grade Badgers team was on the sidelines for warm-ups, and our kids embraced them, and I think it was positive for all of us involved.
It means a lot to the team. I mean, all those guys coming out and having Danny come for the Thanksgiving football game was huge. It was a lot of fun, and
it's inspirational to us, honestly. It gives us something to look forward to. We really played that game for us as seniors for our last game, and we played it for him.
Danny's story, along with the support from the Trojans, his friends, and his brother, drew national attention, and this week, the MIAA recognized the BR football team for its leadership role in supporting Danny and the Band of Brothers. MIAA Assistant Director Rich Riley presented the team with the Educational Athletics Achievement Award. Coach Buron expressed his pride in what was truly a win-win scenario.
And I think the greatest thing is, Danny has a disability called childhood apraxia of speech, and as a result of the notoriety now, that that disability is becoming more aware. People, are understanding that a little bit better. So
2013 was another banner year for BR, both on and off the field. Lineman Nick Falconieri and Sean Whitaker have both signed with Assumption and Southern Connecticut, respectfully receiving scholarships to play on the Division II Gridiron this coming fall. Can you tell me a little bit about those steps it took to gain those scholarships?
It's a everyday thing. You have to work hard every day for it. You have to keep your grades up, especially. But you got to play well. You have to play very well to get a scholarship, and you have to work at it. You have to work at it a lot.
Keeping with the tradition of BR football, Coach Buron will have another large class of players moving on to the college ranks. Perhaps the greatest victory of all.
I'm quite confident they're all going to do well in life. They're all hard-working kids, and I think they've learned valuable life lessons. It's a credit to their families and the communities of Bridgewater and Rainham. And I just play a small part, and I'm the lucky guy that gets to be involved with these kids, for a couple hours a day. But they're all going to do well. They're smart kids, and they all have great work ethic. So I'm pretty confident they're all going to do well.
Maybe this latest graduating class will soon be replaced by Danny and his band of brothers. Reporting from the regional, this is Janine Barreo.
Very nice video, which brings to mind too, I know our Bridgewater Cable and our Rainham Cable work with our students, and we greatly appreciate that. Any efforts of our students to get involved in that is really worthwhile. And anything that we can do to promote a culture where any forms of bullying or violence are not tolerated, and that we really promote a culture where sportsmanship and teamwork is what the norm is at BR, both on and off the field, is where we want to be. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Coach.
And next we have recognition of school committee members. This is actually our last meeting before our annual town elections in Bridgewater and Rainham. And unfortunately, we have two members who are leaving our committee because they are both very, very busy individuals. And I know they're really reluctant because we have so much fun here at our school committee meetings, but their time is just so limited. George Vazvatikis, who coincidentally could not be with us this evening. He's going to try to come to the next meeting, but he's actually on Nantucket working a business deal right now. So George is involved in many, many things. And also our retired police chief, Luca Chico. So we would like to recognize them at this time. And I think I can do it right from here, Dr. Forbes. This certificate of appreciation will be presented to George Vazvatikis as a token of esteem in recognition of 3 years of dedicated service to the students of Bridgewater and Rainham, 2011 through 2014. Bridgewater Rainham Regional School District School Committee member. He served as the vice chairman for this past year, 2013 to 2014. Site Dedication Subcommittee, 2011 to 2014, Regional Studies Subcommittee, 2011 to 2014, School Committee Scholarship Committee, 2011 to 2014, Bridgewater Rainham Athletic Advisory Council, 2011 to 2014, Representative of the Bridgewater Rainham Regional School District Friend of Athletics, 2011 to 2014, Legislative Contact Representative from 2012 to 2013, alternate signer of warrants 2012 to 2013, served on the Budget Subcommittee 2012 to 2014, Negotiations Subcommittee 2012 to 2014, Public Employee Committee 2012 to 2014, and liaison to the Bridgewater Town Council and Finance in the Finance Committee in Rainham, Board of Selectmen, and the Rainham Finance Committee 2012 to 2014. Also the Building Subcommittee 2013 to 2014, awarded by the Bridgewater Rainham Regional School District School Committee on this date, April 14th. 16th, 2014. And we will give that to George and thank him. George has been with us for 3 years, but he's been involved in many, many things. And we have appreciated his input and look forward to having him give us his input from time to time. We have his cell phone, so we will call as needed. And Dr. Forbes, anything you'd like to add?
Yes. Mr. Vazvatikas has been an invaluable member. He has been there through our budgets, 3 budget cycles. He's also served on the negotiating team. Whenever we needed someone to be there to make a quorum, George has always shown up. He is a real strong supporter of the Bridgewater-Raynham Regional School District. He is a strong supporter of public education and an all-around outstanding school committee member. So it's been a pleasure to serve with him, and I will miss him.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And also, Bridgewater-Raynham Regional School District. This certificate of appreciation is presented to Louis J. Pacheco as a token of esteem and recognition of 5 years of dedicated service to the students of Bridgewater and Raynham. Bridgewater-Raynham Regional School District School Committee member from 2004 to 2006, during which time he served on the Athletic Advisory Council, the Site Dedication Subcommittee, School Scholarship Subcommittee, Sick Leave Bank Subcommittee, and the Raynham Middle School Hall of Fame representative. And most recently, from 2011 until the present, serving on our committee and on the Safety and Security Team Subcommittee and the Site Dedication Subcommittee. And I want to add, too, that this was never a position that Chief Pacheco sought on his own. He was always drafted when we needed someone, and he accepted the draft, the challenge, and we greatly appreciate that. I also have something else to add here, too. During the 30-plus years that Chief Pacheco served as a member of the Raynham Police Department, rising through the ranks from patrolman to sergeant to lieutenant to captain, deputy chief, and then chief of police, he played a critical role, as did his predecessor, Peter King, in fostering the very positive working relationship that our Bridgewater-Raynham schools and our public safety officers rely on so heavily today. As part of his department's total commitment to the safety of the children of Raynham, particularly in reaction to the kidnapping and murder of Bridgewater-Raynham High School student Mary Lou Arruda in 1978, Lou Pacheco followed in the footsteps of Chief King in supporting the annual fingerprinting program in the Raynham schools, sponsored by the Raynham Association of Volunteers for Education. Now in its 33rd year, the RAVE organization has fingerprinted literally thousands of Raynham students for use as an investigative tool in helping to identify them if they should ever become lost. Perhaps this program's greatest value is in the safety, reminder, and awareness that it promotes with our parents and students. As police chief, Lou also served on the board of directors of the RAVE organization and supported all of the volunteer organization's efforts in our Raynham schools, including participating in RAVE's Read Across America program. That's the Dr. Seuss program, and we used to always give him the most difficult tongue twisters. And salute to our veterans program. For all of his efforts, he was awarded the RAVE Award for exceptional commitment and dedication to the children of Raynham. Lou's involvement and support for the Bridgewater-Raynham schools is continued through his involvement with the Bristol County District Attorney's Office. The Text to Tip program is just one example of the initiatives that he has promoted in an attempt to ensure, to the extent possible, the safety of our schools and our students in the district. Tonight, the Bridgewater-Raynham Regional School District and School Committee would like to officially express its appreciation to Lou for all of his efforts supporting our Bridgewater-Raynham schools, not only as a member of the school committee from 2004 to 2006 and from 2011 to 2014, but also as one of our most valuable supporters and alumni of the Raynham schools and the Bridgewater-Raynham Regional High School. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Dr. Forbes?
Yes, I would just like to say to the chief that he has been a strong advocate for children in his career, his 30-year career in the police department, but also here as a school committee member, as a resident of the town of Raynham. He took me under his wing when I got here. He helped me understand the history, the context of the communities. There's not a day goes by that I can't call him if I have a question about anything regarding safety, security, technology, crime. He's there. He always gets back to me. He lets me know. He gives me wonderful advice and expertise. He's one of those men who continues to serve his community no matter what the position is. And he is a digital technology expert, and that's rare in the safety and security. Oh, I'm older than you, Doc. Chief. So no, but he is top notch. with that and helps shape the vision of the district through his interactions with the superintendent, with the safety and security team that we have. And so that is, again, very invaluable. We couldn't do it without you. He has a great deal of expertise in the areas of negotiations and contracts and collective bargaining. And again, that comes from a long career. And all of that knowledge he's been able to share with the committee, with the superintendent, the administrative team. He also is just an all-around great person who cares deeply about our children and does the right thing. You couldn't be a police chief, you couldn't be a policeman, couldn't be on a school committee if you didn't have love for the community and for the children. And you have served in that capacity for years, and I know that you will continue to do so. And I can sleep better knowing that you are protecting us, because that will continue no matter where you are and in what
And we
field
still
you're in
have you
now.
on speed dial as well.
Yes.
And you're always subject to redraft, so
If I'd have known you
don't get
liked
too
me this much, I
comfortable.
would have run again. Thank you very much. As you said, I didn't run for the position, but it was a last-minute thing both times. And my heroes always been the teachers and the coaches all through my life, and still that way. I mean, the work they do is incredible, and it's the building blocks for the better job they do, the less I had to do later on the street. So, and the committee people that I've worked with have been fantastic. I mean, the time that they put in, look at George Vesic's resume there. That's 2 full-time jobs, plus he had his own job. So it's been an honor. Thank you very much. And like I said, if I had known you liked me so much, I would have run.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay.
You will be missed, but I have you on speed dial.
Okay, next we have public comment. Does anyone wish to address the committee at this time? If so, you may come to the podium. Okay, seeing none, no one. Educational reports. Bridgewater Rainham Regional High School Student Advisory Council update. Mr. Curtin is our representative. James.
We have Nina Colombo's with us again tonight, and she has a little bit of information for you regarding the college prep program that we're starting. And tonight you have in your packet the piece that relates to seniors education.
Nina?
Good evening, everyone. I would just like to make a note that it's not explicitly college prep, it's also occupations and military. So we have that branching out for us. I think you should have just a brief kind of a glimpse of what the packets will look like that we're working with the guidance department at the high school to allow students to have access to. So the project kind of started from our council, which works on developing things that we would like to see develop further in the high school. So one of our things was kind of little things that we as high school students wish we had gotten when we were freshmen maybe. Now I'm a senior about to graduate, that from a administrative or a teacher or a staff perspective, you wouldn't really know that kids need to know these things, or that they wouldn't take it right off the cuff. So there were some things that, even though they seem little when you're looking at them on here, they were a big deal that we wish we had or are glad we had and want to reinforce. So that was kind of our thought process with that. So we worked with all levels, all ages in the high school, looking to see what kids know, what they need to know more. Not only from, we have a sophomore member on our committee who had that perspective of just kind of feeling overwhelmed. And then we have 2 seniors, James Studley and myself. And so we kind of had our retrospective look. And so we've kind of put that all together in a project that we will give you a little more information in the next meeting, our final meeting with you. So if you have this in front of you, this is senior year for kids looking to go to college. So this is our specific audience that we're targeting here. And it's broken down by summer, early fall, if you're kind of want to get ahead of the game, and then fall, which is kind of the peak of it. So we kind of just have a couple notes for kids. We wanted to keep it a really simple, accessible format, so it's not this big, heavy document. You know, it's a simple bulleted list that you as a student can just look at, keep in a folder, make sure you're on track. So there are little things that when you're reading it you might not think much of, like under the summer and early fall section, create accounts, Common App, which we're all really excited about the Common App. We love the Common App. A lot of kids, when we talked to them, didn't realize how long it took to fill that out. So we kind of included, remember, you have your parents' information in there, you have a lot of information that you might even not have on hand about yourself. So little things like that is kind of what we were looking for in this project. And maybe as a guidance counselor or a teacher, you wouldn't know to tell your kids, remember, it's going to take a while to fill that out, but we as students, maybe scrambling or maybe feeling glad that we did it early enough, we were able to apply that to something like this. Other things, letters of recommendation, asking teachers early enough so you're not like hitting them with a bunch to do last minute, things like that. Taking tests, SATs, ACTs, SAT subject, things that kids wouldn't necessarily know. And this does show that kids have a lot of work their senior year. You know, it's a big task applying to college. It's kind of another job. And with kids who are on sports or in the musical production or are taking a bunch of APs or in TJ squared, it's a big task for them. So our goal is to make that simpler and easier and more clear to understand. So before we see you in our next meeting, we'll be working with the guidance department just to see where there are overlaps, where they've already given this information to students, so we're not overloading them with excessive information. So we're going to be streamlining that, putting it all together, and we'll give you the finalized project at our next meeting. So any questions over here?
Does anyone have any questions?
Okay, and I would like to make a little shout out to Rainwater, which is presenting Happy Days in May. I really highly recommend. I'm not even in it, and we love Rainwater. Just like we support the athletics and TJ squared. Love Rainwater. We'd love to see you all there. Also, you all got invitations for the Academic Awards Night, which I believe is the 28th of May.
Thank you so much.
Yep. Another really good night that just showcases all the talents of the high schoolers. It's a good way to celebrate what we all bring to the table. So we would love to see you all there.
Thank you, Nina. Very nice presentation.
Thank you.
James, anything else you want to add? Very good. Excellent. Next, we have our district determined measures overview, our assistant superintendent, Mr. Swenson.
Madam Chair, thank you. Members of the committee, Dr. Forbes. This evening, I'm going to give you a brief overview of district determined measures and kind of give you an update as to where the district is as far as the developmental process and the implementation process. First, basically, district determined measures are defined as measures of student learning and growth that correlate with the Massachusetts State Framework, and they are common assessments across grade levels and content areas district-wide. These measures may be portfolio assessments, approved commercial assessments, district-determined assessments, or project-based assessments. MCAS results in the areas of English language arts and mathematics in grades 4 through 8. For those educators who teach those subject matters will also be one of the measures. District-determined measures will now play a key role in the Commonwealth in the new educator evaluation system. Beginning in 2014-15, every educator who is evaluated under the new model system will need annual data from at least 2 state-determined or district-determined measures. And this will count towards their overall evaluation, which will begin in 2015-16, where every educator will now be receiving 2 independent but linked ratings under the new system. The first being a summative performance rating, which we currently receive, but also now a student impact rating. And these 2 ratings will reflect the connection between an educator's practice and an educator's impact on student learning. In 2015-16, educators will begin to receive student impact ratings of either high, moderate, or low, based upon trends and patterns in student learning. Aside from being connected to the new evaluation system, These grade level and content area common assessments will provide wonderful opportunities for our educators to gain a better understanding of student knowledge and learning patterns. This year, one of our district's primary focuses has been on the development of 2 common assessments at every grade level and within each content area in grades pre-K through 12. We began our process last August by working with an incredible DDM consultant, Dr. Deb Brady. Dr. Brady is a former assistant superintendent, and she led several DDM trainings throughout the district last summer and in the fall for our administrators, lead teachers, department heads, unified arts teachers, special educators, counselors, nurses, and speech and language pathologists. Once these trainings were completed, the district's administrative team decided to establish a collective professional practice goal based upon the DDM development process. The goal was to facilitate the process of the development of common assessments that fit the criteria of district-determined measures. The administrators allowed our educators to utilize grade level, professional learning community, lead teacher, and department head meeting time to work collaboratively to develop these district-determined measures. We are excited to report to the school committee here this evening that the process is nearing completion, and we are currently in the final stages of developing our DDM action plan that is required to be submitted to the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education. We will be submitting our plan in mid-May, which is well ahead of the June 1 date due that is required by the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education. Many communities are now filing waivers for an extension. We are ahead of the curve, and that was because of the proactive approach that our district took in this regard, and it is a testament to all of the hard work of our administrators and educators throughout the district. With that being said, I'd just like to take this opportunity to quickly thank all of our wonderful, hardworking, and dedicating educators and administrators for all their efforts throughout this process. It's been truly a collaborative effort, and we are exceptionally proud of the action plan we are currently developing and will be presenting to the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education next month. So at this time, I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have on district-determined measures or the development process or how they will be implemented moving forward.
Thank you, Mr. Swenson. Any questions from any committee members? Dr. Forbes?
Assessment is essential because it's what drives instruction. And the more common assessments that we can have district-wide, as well as individual assessments in the classroom, will help us adjust our teaching so that the students, we can meet their needs. And this helps us figure out what we need to teach, what are the children learning, what haven't they learned yet, what are they struggling with, so how do we have to go back and reteach or adjust our instruction. So assessment is not always seen in a favorable light, but when assessment is used to drive instruction, it's a very positive thing. And I see these district-determined assessments as a positive and will help us and help improve our teaching and learning.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Swenson, for all your hard work on that.
And you can stay right there, Mr. Swenson, because next we have District Improvement Plan Survey.
Sure. Well, first I'm just going to give you a quick overview of our district improvement accomplishments throughout this year, and then I'll tie it into how the survey will help us moving forward with our district improvement plan. We are extremely excited and proud this evening to highlight and report out on some of the accomplishments made within the Bridgewater-Raynham Regional School District District Improvement Plan. District Improvement Plan identifies and describes the goals and objectives of our district that we'll work on as means of enhancing student, academic, and social development. The District Improvement Plan is not specific to each school, but rather it is an overarching plan to meet the needs of the district as a whole. The Bridgewater-Raynham Regional School District Improvement Plan focuses on 5 major areas that are critical to providing strong, effective schools for our school-age children here within the district. The 5 areas are improve student achievement, develop personal growth in the areas of social, emotional, and academic development, collaborate and partner with the communities of Bridgewater and Raynham, maintain a positive school climate that is inclusive to meet the needs of diverse learners, and to continue to maintain appropriate facilities, materials, and instruction that support teaching and learning. And instead of presenting you with the entire plan today, I presented you in your packets with the Cliff Notes version. So it's bulleted, and I'll just kind of quickly walk you through some of the different areas of the plan and the accomplishments that we were able to complete this year. First, under student achievement, this year we have fully implemented the new Massachusetts Educator Evaluation System. We were a Race to the Top district, and last year we rolled it out to half our staff. This year we rolled it out to our entire staff. Again, I just talked about our development of our district-determined measures and action plans. The big one for the district, obviously, this year was the development of a free full-day kindergarten program. So we were able to eliminate our district's tuition-based K+ program. We amended the Bridgewater-Raynham Regional School District Committee policy on kindergarten. We created and distributed free full-day kindergarten promotional materials and hosted free full-day kindergarten parent and guardian informational meetings. To continue aligning our state frameworks to the Common Core and develop common assessments in all core academic subjects. Again, that ties nicely into what we did this year with the development of our district-determined measures. We have piloted the Partnership for Assessment of Readiness for College and Careers, or the PARC, which is a state assessment that one day may be the new MCAS here in the state of Massachusetts in the areas of English language, arts, and mathematics. And we've continued to look at our science curriculum, and we're still waiting for the Department of Ed to make a decision whether or not they're going to fully adopt the next generation science standards. And once they make a decision there, we'll be ready to go in terms of aligning our curriculum to those standards. We've continued to help teachers develop the repertoire of instructional strategies and assessment practices. We've allowed them to continue to have professional development in the areas of the instructional framework, which was adopted and approved by the committee last year. The district provided professional development during the August Professional Development Week that were totally aligned to the Bridgewater-Raynham Regional School District instructional framework. And we continue to provide support for our new educators within the district. This year we were able to develop and implement a new teacher induction program, and this voluntary program consisted of meeting with mentors, participating in a classroom management training, and a digital program training that was specific to our district for some of the digital pathways that we have and programs that we have, such as ASOP, which is our attendance program, EdLine, which is our parent communication system, GradeQuick, which we use for our grading and report cards, and School Spring, which is what we use to post some of the positions that come up through our district throughout the course of the year. In the areas of ELA, K-12, we have developed a K-4 district literacy team. We provided a K-4 letters program training, which was an intervention program to help students who may be struggling and need extra time and support in the areas of reading. We've provided grades K through 4 teachers with an end-of-year writing benchmark assessments and rubric development training throughout the 2014-15 year, and I have reported out on that training in the past at previous school committee meetings. We provided 6 trait writing for all of our 2nd and 3rd grade teachers this year. So right now within our district, all grade 2 through 8 teachers who teach ELA have been trained in the 6 traits of writing. This year we are piloting the Empowered Writing program in grades K through 5, and at the end of the year we'll do an assessment of that program, and if we feel as though it's something that we would like to bring to the committee for adoption, we will do so. We have implemented a preschool comprehensive literacy curriculum program, thanks to our Director of Special Education, Carla Thomas. It's the big day for pre-K, and that was fully implemented this year. In the area of mathematics, research and implementing technology and digital programs that will enhance the math curriculum. The big one here this year was obviously the full implementation of our ST Math program in grades K through 5 and as an intervention tool in grades 6 through 8. And we are proud to report out that we have the highest utilization rate in the country of the people who have adopted this program. So that's something to be very proud of, and the implementation has gone wonderfully this year. In the areas of professional growth, plan and develop a social skills program for our middle school students. Grade 5 through 8 guidance counselors have developed a social skills curriculum and have piloted it throughout this year. And again, like our empowering writers, we'll do an assessment of this program at the end of the year and see if we would like to fully implement going into next year. In terms of collaboration and partnerships, this year we were, with the support of the committee, able to create 21st century state-of-the-art digital classrooms within the schools of the Bridgewater-Raynham Regional School District that will benefit our students within the district, while at the same time allowing Bridgewater State University and other colleges and universities to access these classrooms to train future educators. We've also partnered with Bridgewater State University to provide our high school special education, inclusion mathematics teachers with effective co-teaching professional development opportunities. In terms of school climate, we continue to meet with our emergency response team, which is a collaboration of our administrative team and community first responders, fire and police, on a regular basis, and we review and revise our safety and security protocols. Local police and our school resource officers have recently provided safety and security trainings for our district secretarial staff, and we'll be doing the same next week for our custodial staff. Our safety committee has also visited all of our schools throughout the district to assess the safety and security of our buildings. And this year, we were lucky enough to be able to upgrade all of our school buildings to a swipe card entry system. So a very busy year, but a very productive year. And as you can see, a lot of great things going on throughout the district. I did state in the beginning, Madam Chair spoke of a survey. We are going to back home with our 8th grade students at Bridgewater Middle School and the Rainham Middle School tomorrow. Some information on how they can participate in a survey that's on our website entitled the Shaping Bridgewater-Raynham Regional School District's Future Survey. And basically we're hoping to gain some information about where students are attending high school after they leave our middle schools. We see that there's a trend that some students are going the vocational route, the parochial school route, and some other neighboring communities with school choice. So what we want to do is we want to gather data and see if there are reasons why they are exiting our district, and see if we can maybe put some of those programmings in at the high school, whether they be academic programming, extracurricular, athletics, something along those lines. So that'll be interesting data. We're going to backpack that with the students tomorrow with the report cards. It's the best way to get things home with kids is with their report cards, so it doesn't end up in the back of a bus or a book bag. So hopefully the students will participate in that, and we'll give them a few weeks to keep that as a survey monkey, so it tabulates everything for us. And once we have the results of that survey, I'd be happy to report out on it at a future school committee meeting.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Swenson. Any questions from the committee? Mr. Gelfi.
Yeah, has the district done anything to address writing stamina? I see you have the 2 writing programs.
That Empowering Writers program that's the focus with that. And what we actually have done this year too, I know we've spoken about this too, those end of the year benchmarks that we have now created. What we've done by doing that is actually given teachers strategies and tools to help them build those strategies and that endurance building throughout the year. Right now, I think we reported out kindergarten have to write 3 full, well-structured sentences to exit kindergarten. So those strategies are going to be going on throughout the course of the year. First grade, 2 paragraphs. At the end of first grade would be the end of the year benchmark. Second grade would be 3. Third grade, 4. And by the time they get to 4th grade for the long comp, they'll have built that endurance over time. So that was the reason why we brought in our writing consultant, Dr. Gail Breer, and worked with those folks just for that situation. We also, with the Empowering Writing program that we are now piloting, there's an element of that in that as well. So we're going to do an assessment of that with my lead teachers on May 8th and get some feedback that I'll bring to Dr. Forbes and then possibly to the committee for an adoption for next year.
And we have the block time during the school day to where the kids sit down and actually write for a good chunk of time.
Right, and that'll be part of the literacy block. And we are working in some of the elementary schools now to try to figure out how we can have some uninterrupted literacy block time. And that's a scheduling issue, especially when you have itinerant staff that go between buildings. That is something that I know Mr. Bray met with a consultant the other day from the Hill to talk about how to maybe structure those literacy blocks so that they are uninterrupted, so it allows just for what you're speaking to.
Thank you. Anything else? Dr. Forbes?
Well, the writing that we're doing is exciting. Just this week, Mr. Swenson and I took a look at kindergarten writing, opinion writing. And so we were reading opinions that little kindergarteners were expressing in writing. Certainly the spelling was still phonemic at this point, but there were sentences that were logical, that made sense, that were expressing opinions. We use a variety of genre of writing, and our expectations for the kindergartners are where they need to be. And I'm thrilled, as a former English teacher, to see that we are focusing on writing as well as handwriting, learning how to read. It's a very important skill that will do the children well throughout their life. So it's exciting to see narrative, expository, and also opinion and argumentative writing at such a young age. So.
And that Empowering Writers program incorporates all of those genres of writing throughout the school year. And they have great starter sentences, like Dr. Forbes just said, in my opinion. So as a kid, student's writing, in my opinion, you know, why is a snail so slow?
So
Some of that for the police officer.
well, I didn't red pen them, but I was just checking to make sure that the children were writing sentences, that they had complete thoughts, that they were expressing opinions, and the phonetic spelling. It's a beautiful stage to see that they're almost at the developmental stage where they will have correct spelling. Because ultimately, we do want to make sure our children can write legibly, they can express themselves, and they can also spell correctly. So,
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Swinson. Next, we have administrative and school committee reports and our special education mid-cycle review report with our Director of Special Education, Special Services, Ms. Carla Thomas. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair, Dr. Forbes, School Committee.
Thank
I brought
you.
along a copy of the special education manual that you may want to refer to help explain the mid-cycle review. And you approved that back in August of 2013. So every year we'll be updating that around that time. The mid-cycle review is something that occurs every 6 years. So the Department of Education comes in to make a visit to our district to make sure that we're following all mandated state and federal regulations. 6 years, every 6 years, there's a coordinated program review, which you went through, the district went through in 2010. 3 years later is our mid-cycle review. What that does, as I said, it measures compliance with the state and federal regulations. It begins in August, or it began in August, with a self-assessment where we needed to choose 30 student records and provide information digitally to the Department of Education, which indicated compliance with the requested criteria. The second piece of that in August was a signed program plan statement that I needed to sign, very lengthy document. Pat Riley needed to sign it, the superintendent signed it, and all of the principals signed it. And what that was is our promise as a district that we would follow all of the criteria that the state and federal government set forth for our students with disabilities. On February 10th, we had a site visit from the Department of Education where they came in and they provided staff interviews. They reviewed approximately 25 randomly selected student records in great detail. So they spent the day going through records and identifying compliance issues or compliance issues or items that we met. The examination of documents included all professional development activities that we've completed over the last 2 years. So we had a box that we submitted to them, and a copy of this special education handbook. Now, this handbook is something that needs to be revised on a regular basis because the laws change on a regular basis. So I brought some examples for you. So of the 55 categories that the Department of Education examined, 14 of them were examined during this most recent mid-cycle review. So I won't go through the entire mid-cycle review with you, but I will give you an example. If you, when you get to the special education manual, there's a piece that's tabbed in pink. In the first section of the mid-cycle review, it's criteria 3A. It's called Special Requirements for Students on the Autism Spectrum. And what that is 7 areas that we need to consider under a new law that occurred several years ago. In the area of pink, that I think Madam Chair is looking at right now, all of our assessments...
May I interrupt for 1 second? Committee members, it's page 2 of the document that you have in front of you. Criterion number 3A at the top, there's a section. I believe you received that this evening? Okay. There's a cover letter from, addressed to me from the Program Quality Assurance Services chairperson, and then the logo of DESE, and then it's the first page in the boxes at the top. I believe that's what you're referring to.
Yes, thank you. So if you look at that first item, that first criteria, number 3A, that's just an example of one of the procedures that we need to put in place. Once we put the procedure in place, we do professional development for all of our special education staff. And then at each of the team meetings, they're required to consider all of those 7 areas for students on the autism spectrum and provide it to us as part of the IEP, which gets filed in this record. So that's one example. One more example I wanted to bring to your attention was item 39A, procedures used to provide services to eligible students who are enrolled at private expense in private schools in the district and whose parents reside out of state. What that means for us is that we need to conduct child find activities, which means that we need to identify any child living in Bridgewater or Raynham who may have a disability. And we do that pretty intensely at the preschool level through our preschool screenings. We send every child in both towns a letter indicating that we will be providing screenings to children about to turn 3. We provide the same child find letter to every pediatrician's office, every state agency like the Department of Mental Health, Head Start agencies, and every private preschool, so that we are obligated to find every student who may have a disability. Every school building posts a child find notice in their main office. And like I said, every child turning 3 receives a preschool screening, and we do those screenings several times during the year. So as you can see from the special education manual, there's a lot to remember in special education. Through those procedures, we're able to work with staff who are extremely dedicated and want to do the right thing for students. There's a lot to remember, but I'd like to report happily to you today that of the criteria that the Department of Education looked at, if you look at each of the boxes, it has a rating at the top. And I looked through the ratings as they came, and each one is implemented with 100% accuracy. So what that means for us is that the teachers, the principals, the staff, the administrators have done a tremendous job. When I show up there at their buildings, I think they do this because I pester them sometimes about following procedures. But we couldn't have done it without them. This is the first time in my career I've seen a fully implemented mid-cycle review, and I'm really proud of the staff and feel fortunate to work here.
Thank you very much. Any questions from any committee members? And Dr. Forbes?
This is 100%. We did it, all. I'm thrilled. In my 40-year career, I've never seen 100% on a mid-cycle review. So, good job to the special ed department under Carla's leadership. Thank you. It's very impressive. And of all of the records that were reviewed, everything is implemented, and
You're excited.
great job.
So that means no corrective action, no progress reporting, and yay.
We are thrilled with that.
Thank you very much. Okay, next we have roof repair project update. Dr. Forbes and Mr. Barancelli, our Director of Custodial Services. Building Supervisor.
Director of Facilities.
Director of Facilities, that's what I was reaching for.
That's okay. Good evening. The roof project's going to start soon. We've been meeting every couple of weeks with the project manager and the architect, but this morning we met with the project manager and the roofing contractor. They are planning on starting Friday at the Bridgewater Middle School to do superintendent's area and 2 other sections of the Bridgewater Middle, hopefully during vacation week, depending on the weather, which would be, they're hoping to do the superintendent's area Friday, Saturday, and Monday, so it won't interrupt anything in the super's area, so, which is good. They seem good so far. They haven't started yet, so we'll see, but they've also asked if they could work every weekend, which is still up for discussion. Dr. Forbes is doing all the queries on everybody right now to make sure they can all, we can keep the workforce up.
They're approved.
Good. And then that's basically it. They plan on starting the day we get out of school, providing there's no more snow days, which would be the 21st, June 21st. I thought we were going to be close today, but I was going to call the superintendent just to let her know it was snowing out.
But he thought, well, better of that.
But they do plan on starting the day after we get out of school. They'll have a crew in Bridgewater and a crew in Rainham. And hopefully, depending on weather, everything goes smooth.
Very good.
What we're trying to do is get a head start on getting the roof done. So we're going to do Bridgewater Middle School. They're looking at working Saturdays. We're trying to work that out with our project manager, Vertex, to see if we can do that. They will start Friday. They seem like really good people. Their DCAM ratings are 9s and 10s. They've done a lot of high schools. North Attleboro High School, Falmouth High School are 2 that I can recall. It's the Gibson Roofing Company. They've had tremendous experience. They seem to know what they're doing. This morning, we talked about the flashings, that we would continue with the same colors that we have. We're not doing anything different. That would cost more money. They seem to be very efficient. They wanted access to the buildings, and I did not grant that. I don't feel there's any need for that, and I'm not willing to pay overtime while the roofers are up on the roof. So their project manager is going to work out of his SUV this weekend. And when we start to work during the weeks, then we'll have a space in our buildings for them. But I have to be very cognizant of every expense, and we need to make sure that the work gets done. And we'll stay on schedule. When they're finished with the Bridgewater Middle School, the crew will begin at La Liberté and then Merrill. And I have every confidence that we're going to be fine as long as we have a dry summer. We do have a penalty clause that it will be $1,000 a day that we would charge the company if we are not able to open school on time. And so that's quite an incentive. But even more of an incentive is the DCAM rating. They want a 9 or a 10. And they have a tremendous reputation, and we're thrilled to be working with them. And let's just hope that we have a dry summer, and we'll get our roofs on, because our kids deserve to have good learning environments, our staff and our students. So it's exciting. So we're
Very
happy.
good. Any other questions? Thank you very much. Yeah. Okay, and we have no unfinished business, I don't believe. New business, evaluation of the superintendent of schools. This is an annual evaluation form. It's based on the form that was based on information from the Massachusetts Association of School Superintendents. First, each member reviews the superintendent's end-of-cycle summative report and other relevant evidence to make an individual determination of the progress made toward the goals in the plan. Progress toward each goal is described as either did not meet, some progress, significant progress, met or exceeded. Secondly, each member renders a judgment about the superintendent's performance against each of 4 standards. The 4 standards are divided into a number of indicators. Scoring is in 4 categories: unsatisfactory, needs improvement, proficient, or exemplary, and there is an optional section for comments. All 8 school committee members provided input in our results, and the results in the assessment of the progress toward the 3 goals, which are professional practice goal, student learning goal, and district improvement goal, was either met or in some instances exceeded. Keep in mind that met means you made the goal, and that is what we were aiming for, and exceeded really is, above and beyond. For the professional practice goal, Dr. Forbes has met the professional practice goal of developing K through 12 district-determined measures for each grade level and content-specific area. The DDMs will be submitted to the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education on June 1st for their review. The DDMs will be implemented during the 2014-15 school year as district-wide common assessments used to determine student progress, and in the 2016-17 school year to determine educator evaluation impact on learning. Second, the student learning goal. Dr. Forbes has met the student learning goal of student utilization of the ST Math program. Students are required to progress through the supplemental spatial temporal math program for 60 minutes weekly in kindergarten and 90 minutes weekly in grades 1 through 5. Through a combination of in-class and at-home utilization, students have progressed through the ST Math program with the highest, it was mentioned earlier, highest utilization rate in the nation, according to the Mind Research Institute data collection representatives. As far as the school improvement goals, in collaboration with our assistant superintendent and administrative team, Dr. Forbes has implemented district-wide mathematics interventions with middle school students through the ST Math program. She has implemented components of the capital improvement plan that included wiring and installation of whiteboards at the Bridgewater Middle School, installation of parking, traffic signs, and a gate at the Mitchell Elementary School, air-conditioned the computer lab at Williams Intermediate School, updated the signage and cafeteria siding at the Bridgewater Middle School, installation of whiteboards at the La Liberty Elementary School, addition of computer labs at all elementary and intermediate schools, demolished the Pulowski Farm building, and installed a new access road to the high school. Dr. Forbes supervised the implementation of a new professional development system, Smart EDU, under the direction of our assistant superintendent. Under the superintendent's leadership, the district received National Association of the Education of Young Children accreditation and also received New England Association of Schools and Colleges NEASC accreditation. Are you sure this all happened in 1 year, Dr. Forbes?
I think so.
Amazing. The results in the assessment of the superintendent's performance on each of the 4 standards was either proficient or in many cases exemplary. It is important to note that proficient is really considered to be the ideal. It is understood to be fully satisfactory. It is defined as the rigorous expected level of performance. Exemplary, on the other hand, is really above and beyond what is expected. It is defined as practice that significantly exceeds proficient and could serve as a model of practice regionally or statewide. And in all of these categories, the ratings were either proficient or exemplary, with most of them in the exemplary side. This area includes curriculum for the Standard 1, instructional leadership. This area includes curriculum, instruction, assessment, evaluation, and data-informed decision-making. The area of curriculum is most impressive, and I have a long list, but most of it, many of the different parts Mr. Swenson mentioned, but just to mention a few: fully implemented the Bridgewater-Rainham Regional School District's instructional framework, developed a full-day kindergarten program for September 2014 implementation, provided professional development that aligned with the instructional framework during the August Professional Development Week, as well as additional offerings throughout the 2013-14 academic year for teachers and administrators, provided literacy and writing strategies and intervention, professional development opportunities in grades K through 4 through the Hill for Literacy Group, developed K through 4 writing rubrics and assessments, fully implemented the ST Math program in grades 1 through 5 in the intervention component in grades 6 through 8, piloted Empowering Writers program in grades K through 4, developed a district determined measures action plan for the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education that will be submitted, as we mentioned, June 1st, provided technology curriculum integration support to classroom teachers in grades K through 12 through the newly created technology curriculum integration specialist position, revised AP course offerings to include AP physics and statistics, opened the AP student enrollment process that increased participation by 38% and received national recognition, fully aligned the district's ELA and mathematics curricula to the Common Core standards, implemented a comprehensive preschool curriculum aligned with DESE's early childhood curriculum, provided Tier 2 preschool intervention strategies through the Zoophonics program, developed and implemented a preschool report card, and with Dr. Forbes' leadership, the school committee adopted a 4-year math graduation requirement for the 2014-15 school year. School committee also adopted an integrated computer application graduation requirement. And the district, under Dr. Forbes' leadership, implemented ELA courses at the high school to better prepare students for pre-SATs and SATs, facilitated the training of PARCC assessments for administrators, developed a special education mathematics professional development opportunity for high school faculty through Bridgewater State University to enhance mathematics instruction. And in addition to curriculum progress relative to instruction, Dr. Forbes supervised administrators to ensure that high standards for instruction were held in all school settings. Progress was also made in the areas of assessments and evaluations, with emphasis on data-informed decision-making. Comments from school committee members included, quote, Dr. Forbes always expects the highest level of achievement for our schools and consistently provides resources for our teachers and staff to improve achievement, unquote. Quote, under Dr. Forbes' leadership, great strides have been made in the area of curriculum and instruction. Great emphasis has been placed on the importance of accurate and effective assessments and on the importance of data-informed decision-making. The district took a leadership role in being among the first to implement the new Massachusetts Educator Evaluation Model System. The second standard, management and operations. This area includes environment, developing and executing effective plans, procedures, routines, and operational systems to address a full range of safety, health, emotional, and social needs. Human resources management and development, scheduling and management information systems, law, ethics, and policies, and fiscal systems, including developing a budget that supports the district's vision, mission, and goals, allocating and managing expenditures consistent with district and school-level goals and available resources. Comments from school committee members included, quote, Dr. Forbes excels in the area of budget preparation, fiscal responsibility, and overall management of the district's finances. She runs a very tight ship and commands a coordinated effort from her administrative team. She keeps the safety and security of our school buildings as a priority always. In addition, securing state funding for the 3 roof repair replacement projects was not only a huge financial help for Bridgewater and Rainham, but the projects would not have been possible otherwise. Also, another quote, budget is always reflective of school needs versus town's abilities to pay. There is no question of excellent ethics and policies. The third standard, family and community engagement, includes engagement actively ensuring that all families are welcome members of the classroom and school community and can contribute to the effectiveness of the classroom, school, district, and community. Sharing responsibility, continuously collaborating with families and community stakeholders to support student learning and development at home, school, and in the community. Communication, engaging in regular two-way, culturally proficient communication with families and community stakeholders about student learning and performance, and family concerns, addressing family and community concerns in an equitable, effective, and efficient manner. Comments from school committee members included, any limitations of addressing community concerns are the result of legal limitations which are frustrating but understandable. Another quote, Dr. Forbes makes a great effort in the area of family and community engagement. Maintaining good public relations can be a daunting task, especially when dealing with some media representatives who are not always interested in the facts or the best interests of the district. In addition, legal requirements, we're being honest here, Chief, can be a real handicap in some instances. The fourth standard, professional culture. Indicators for this standard include commitment to high standards, fosters a shared commitment to high standards of service, teaching and learning with high expectations for achievement for all. Cultural proficiency, communication, demonstrates strong interpersonal, written and verbal communication skills. Continuous learning, develops and nurtures a culture in which staff members are reflective about their practice and use student data, current research, best practices, and theory to continuously adapt practice and achieve improved results, models these behaviors in her own practice. Shared vision, successfully and continuously engages all stakeholders in the creation of a shared educational vision in which every student is prepared for success in post-secondary education and to become a responsible citizen and global contributor. And lastly, managing conflict, employs strategies for responding to disagreement and dissent, constructively resolving conflict and building consensus throughout the district and school community. Comments from school committee members, Dr. Forbes always has the highest expectations. And Dr. Forbes has definitely excelled in creating a truly professional culture that is very positive, student-centered, academically rigorous, and that inspires people to strive for excellence. She is passionate about what she does and about the district, and that passion is contagious. And again, in all categories, we had ratings of proficient and exemplary. So I guess, Dr. Forbes, that means you get an A.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
You're welcome. And now I know why you all wanted me to be chairman. Dr. Forbes?
I would just like to say that all of this is made possible because I have a supportive school committee. I've worked with many different school committees, and it's wonderful and refreshing to have a committee that advocates for the right thing for children and always is there to support the initiatives that we bring forward. I thank you for your leadership, for your questioning, for helping us to do what we need to do to get the job done here in BR. I also have a marvelous administrative team, although sometimes I have to use the stick instead of the carrot, which works. And no nodding of the heads back there in the peanut gallery. We have a wonderful collaborative team. We work well together. We've got excellent teachers, very supportive communities. I am passionate about what I do. I love what I do. I see great strides being made. We have become a level 1 high school. We have received national recognition for a variety of different initiatives here in the district. This is an exciting and challenging time. I look forward to continuing. There are always controversies, there's always conflict, but there's always a solution. And we're always working together with the committee to make sure we have those solutions that will provide our students with the best learning opportunities that we can provide. So I thank you for the honor of serving as your superintendent of schools. I am so honored that you entrust me with the well-being of the district, of the children, and of all of the staff. And I couldn't do it without you, so thank you.
Thank you.
And that's not like a resume where 90% of it's made up, but just by the way. Although I was thinking that while you were reading it, but
Creative writing.
Okay.
no, it's the real deal, Chief.
And continuing on here, approval of last day of school for 2013-2014 school year. Dr. Forbes.
Yes, our last day of school will be Friday, June 20th, 2014, and there will be no more snow days. And also for our preschool and kindergarten students, the last day will be Friday, June 13th.
Very good. Acceptance of gifts. Our high school principal, Miss Watson.
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the school committee, Dr. Forbes. Tonight I am here to present two different gifts. Earlier this year, if you recall, I presented a fundraiser on behalf of the Yes Club, and the Yes Club is the Youth Environmental Social Society. And the fundraiser was to put on a recycled fashion show where all proceeds of the ticket sales were going to be donated to a charitable organization called waterforcambodia.org, which is dedicated to providing clean water and education to the people of Cambodia. Well, a number of businesses found out about our recycled fashion show, and now they are looking to donate to this year's charitable recycled fashion show. So the list of donations are as follows. The owner of handmadesoapforme.com is looking to donate a selection of handmade bath and beauty products, which use all natural materials for resale. Equal Exchange, a coffee and fair trade organization, is looking to donate a 5-pound bag of ground coffee and a box of miniature chocolate samples for resale. Pilot Pens is looking to donate a package of 2 dozen blue ink pens made from 89% post-consumer recycled plastic bottles to be given away as a door prize at the event. And Lulu's Chocolate is looking to donate 1 dozen organic chocolate bars for resale. These donations were selected based on their environmental consideration and production using post-consumer recycled and renewable materials. All donors would receive a handmade thank you card and acknowledgement in this year's fashion show in the evening program. So with your permission of accepting these donations, the Yes Club hopes to increase their donation amount to further support the charity in need.
Thank you. Dr. Forbes, your recommendation?
I recommend that the committee vote to approve the donations.
And based on the superintendent's recommendation, do we have a motion to approve? Motion by Mr. Gelfi, second by Mr. Clapham. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Any opposed? So voted.
Thank you. And the second is on behalf of Mr. Eric Hoy and Mrs. Lindsay Kelleher, who were the class advisors to the class of 2017. The class of 2017 has received a generous donation of a pair of Red Sox tickets from our school resource officer and Bridgewater police officer, Miss Lisa Mitten. The class of 2017 is graciously asking school committee's approval to accept this very generous donation.
Dr. Forbes, your recommendation.
I recommend that the committee vote to approve the donation of a pair of Red Sox tickets. And this is going to be used to support the freshman class?
Yes, wasn't sure if I should do it at the same school committee meeting, but once the school committee granted permission, then I was going to submit a fundraising application to Dr. Forbes. And what the freshman class is looking to do is to raffle off the tickets. And all proceeds will go to the freshman class, which is the class of 2017.
Motion to approve, Dr. Forbes?
Yes.
I mean, recommendation?
Yes.
Do we have a motion based on the superintendent's recommendation? Mr. Curtin, a second by Mr. Gelfi. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Any opposed? So voted. Thank you, Ms. Watson. And we are looking forward to all the wonderful end of the school activities happening here at the high school and at all of our schools. Dr. Forbes, personnel.
Yes, I have one resignation for retirement purposes that I would like to announce to the committee, and that is Mr. Robert Peterson, who is a special education teacher at the high school. The effective date will be June 30th, 2014, after 16 years of service. That concludes my report.
Do we have any other matters to bring before the committee at this time?
I was hoping, Madam Chair, that we could announce that we have Student Government Day coming up on May 15th, and we have a mock school committee meeting. So if anyone is available to please come and meet with us on that day, we'll run a school committee meeting. That's always a wonderful time for the high school students to come over and see how the school committee operates and what central office personnel do, what the superintendent does. So if you folks would put that on your calendar, we'd love to have anyone show up to be a part of that.
Very good. Anything else?
I believe we have the Happy Days. What's the date of that, Angela? I can't remember. Is it the
8th, 9th, and
8th,
8th,
9th,
9th,
and
and 10th?
Okay.
Again, yes, Nina mentioned it. Just trying to think if there's anything else. There's something coming up. Our next school
Our
committee
next school
meeting.
committee meeting is May 28th?
21st?
21st, May 21st. Very good. And obviously, the annual town meeting in Rainham is May 19th. So that's important for Rainham members.
Yes.
And as we mentioned, the last Saturday in April is town elections. So with that, do we have a motion to adjourn at 8:44 p.m.?
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
So voted. Thank you all for coming.